Well, my name is Louis A. Brandon III. I'm originally from Asheville, North Carolina. I came to Greensboro in 1957 to attend North Carolina A&T College, and with the exception of 2 years in the military, then here in Greensboro at A&T and in the public school system in Greensboro and Guilford County.
Okay, wow. So you have a varied background, it seems like, in a multitude of areas. So, what has been the most shocking and the most influential event that you've been involved in?
Shocking. Well, I'm 83 years old, so I'm shocked that after the original movement, civil rights movement of the '60s, which I was a part of, the city in Greensboro, that I'm still having to fight some of the same battles that I fought over 60 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Now, can you give us some examples?
Well, we were trying to desegregate public facilities, and we were successful at that. But in terms of housing, condition, health condition, poor health care, uh, the decline of educational, and what I'm talking about public schools now because of desegregation. We still fighting those battles. Wages, all types of injustice. We did a lot of voter registration, voter educations in the early '60s, registering thousands of people, and now we got people trying to take all of that away from us. So yeah, so that's the shocking part of this. But the other thing is that we are still able to do that. We're still able to organize. We're still able to communicate with people about the need to fight these injustices.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you are right about that, that we are in a moment where it seems like we are progressing backwards and not progressing forward as a country.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be because of personal interest, of our leaders, but I think that, as citizens of this country, we have the power, to change that. So what advice would you have for young voters today?
Well, you have to vote. I mean, it's not enough to just register. And my focus and interest is not on registering people primarily. My interest is getting out the vote from those people who are already registered. If we get them to the polls, then we can dominate. If we run across people who are not registered, we'll register them. But we got to knock on doors. We got to knock on doors. We got to keep knocking on doors and contacting those people. We got to have 3 or 4 touches with those people who are registered to make sure that they get to the polls. And what we decided to do here in Greensboro is to focus on 2 or 3 issues that impact people in the community as a way of mobilizing people.
So mobilization is good, and especially in a society today where everything is digital. So
Yeah.
how do you teach old school politics?
I tell people, put the computers down. I don't do Facebook. I don't do social media. My contact is personal. And all the way you get people to people is knee to knee, eye to eye, one on one. That's how we get people to the polls.
That's awesome. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history. I attended UNCG in the 90s. So I'm a Spartan.
So you're part of what was the group called? The cultural group, Black Culture Group
Well,
at UNCG. I
well,
helped found that group.
oh my goodness. Well,
I can't even think of the name of the war.
and honestly, I wasn't a member,
Oh,
which I hate to say I was not. But
this was back in the '60s.
Oh,
when I did this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I met a wonderful lady. Her name was Jewel. and she helped to integrate UNCG.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of the first Black females to stay at Ragsdale. And she said she remembers having almost a whole floor to herself.
Oh, they did. They took them. There was they put them, and there was 2, 3 maybe of them. They put them off on the south end of the dormitory, away from the rest of the students. Yeah.
Yes, they did. And I just remember sitting there listening to her stories, and I love the stories of that time because it really shapes, our history, but it also allows you to understand what they had to go through, just to get an education.
It was a neo-Black society.
That's exactly what it was. It was still called that in the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, they invited me to a meeting. Some of the young ladies who had formed the organization, and they were upset, and this was in the union. It was a big meeting, and my thing was, look, you all need to go out and start your own newspaper, your own way of communicating with people, not argue with folk over the newspaper here on campus. And so, the Neo-Black Society. But no, we still have the organization I work for, the Beloved Community Center for Greensboro. We've been around about 25 years, but we have interns from UNCG, Bennett, A&T, Guilford College.
Oh, wow.
And right now, one of my interns is a young lady, Kristen Bass, who is helping us with our archiving. We have had a grant from the Melvin Foundation through UNCG to all of the historical information that we have in Greensboro and Guilford from the various movements, the Student Organization of Black Unity, which changed its name to UBU, was based in Greensboro, Malcolm X Liberation University. So all of those, the African World, the Cebu Newsletter, we got all these materials, and we are now in the process of trying to archive all of this information. So, yeah, Kristen is a part of that archiving process. But she's a grad student.
Okay, that is cool.
Yeah.
And so, is that going to be digitally archived, or how?
Both. Some of it is digital, but we're trying to provide. We are in the Beloved Community Center is located at Faith Community Church here in Greensboro, and we have some space. We also have a house down the street, a historical site, which we hope to renovate, where we can store this and make this materials available to the public and to scholars and people who are of interest in the history of the Black liberation struggle. So, but no, people come to us now hands-on kind of stuff. So we have a lot of materials, about the social struggle movements, not only in Greensboro but in North and elsewhere. Yeah,
that is some amazing history, and so as I think about my time here, I really begin to become more informed about the struggles when I began to work at Black Child Development Institute.
Where?
Do you remember Black Child Development Institute? It's still strong.
I know. I helped organize that organization.
You knew Miss June Valdez?
Sarah Urban.
Oh, the original. Yes. The original founder.
Yeah. I worked with Sarah.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So I
knew June.
You know, yes.
Yeah.
That is some amazing history. They did a lot of great work. I honed my skills as a nonprofit leader there, and I still work in nonprofits today.
Yeah, well, I still contribute. They moved, so I'm not sure where they are now. But I still make an annual contribution to the organization. But
nice.
I knew Sarah well.
And so it's like you're woven into the history of Greensboro and the political landscape.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. How has this landscape, how has your involvement shaped your life, shaped who you are?
It's a answer some question. You know, people have always been important to me. Community building has always been important. And so all of the activities, starting with the sit-ins in 1960, has been around trying to build community, uh, make sure that young folk coming up behind me had easy access to the American pie. You know, people would not have to fight the social battles or the battles against injustices that I had to fight and had to live. So, um, yeah. So all of these instances of injustices have made me want to eradicate and fight for, social justice. I guess that answers it. I'm not sure if that answers what you.
You know what? As I was listening to you, the word that comes to mind is purpose.
Yeah.
It gave you purpose
Yeah.
and gave you a focus in your life, and I can hear that.
Yeah, because I got that from the old men in my community who were not, you know, necessarily educated, but they were always pushing boots. You got to do this, you got to do that. And that's having purpose. You got to, in order for us to be successful, you got to go get an education. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be moral. You got to be this. You got to be that. And so that is purpose.
Amazing. So, what final comments would you like to share?
Well, we still had it. The Beloved Community Center of Greensboro, we are now engaged. We did the first Truth and Reconciliation process, Truth Commission in the United States back in 2000. And it culminated in 2006 with a 600-page report on an incident that happened in 1979, the Greensboro massacre, where the Klan came in and killed 5 people and wounded 10 other people. So we had finally in 2000 we established the Greensboro Truth Commission, and it's the first of its kind in the nation. It was not government mandated, but it came up from the people. And so we are now in the process of trying to institute a North Carolina Truth, Justice, and Racial Healing Commission. And so that's where we are now. We've been traveling around the state. Just got back from Wilmington 4 days now, talking to people in Wilmington about what happened in 1898 and other incidents. But we've been to Halifax County, we've been to Asheville, we've been to Charlotte, talking about this, meeting with people, and trying to get the commission off the ground. So that's kind of where we are.
Amazing work. Amazing work. Yeah. So I am very honored to have the opportunity to sit here with you, Mr. Brandon, and the Beloved Community Center. Yeah. I'm sure that they cherish you and all of the work that you do, what you bring to the table. So how can they find you online, or how? You can
go to our website, belovedcommunitycenter.org, or information at Beloved Community Center. I don't know if you know Nelson Johnson, Reverend Nelson Johnson.
I've heard of him. I don't know
Joyce Johnson. They are co-directors of the Beloved Community Center. And we've been partnering. Well, the 3 of us have been together over 60 years of working.
60 years of pure history. We can sit here all day and speak to Mr. Brandon and, just gain a wealth of knowledge. But I really appreciate you spending your time with 18 Studios in Advance, Carolina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.